Okay, Phil.
All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the business portion of our general meeting for January 2022. And we'll go ahead and get started with officer and editor reports, starting with the president. I have nothing to report. Good to see you all this morning. And over to our vice president, Steve. Are you ready to go?
Yes, sir, I am. So first of all, we do have a quorum. So I'd like to go for approval of the previous club's general meeting minutes as published in the relay. So I need a second on that, please.
I second it with Jason.
Okay. All right, can we launch the vote, please? Thank you.
All righty, it looks like the majority has spoken.
Okay, very good. All right, I have 3 prospective members for the club's review. Go to my list here. We will start at the top of my list. We will go with Jack, KJ7YRR. Jack is located in Marysville. His occupation is computers. Holds a technician class license. He is an ARRL member. Wants to join the club. Very good club. Many events around the area. He heard about us by the internet and word of mouth. He's interested in swap meet picnics and banquets. So if you haven't, please sign up for the swap meet. And Jack, do you have anything to tell us about yourself?
Oh, well, I don't know, not really. I drove trucks for 40 years. Just a typical old guy.
Okay. All right. Thank you much, Jack. Go down to Jeffrey, KJ7TTY, out of Monroe, data center operations manager. Okay. Holds a technician class license. He is an ARRL member. Mike and Key and PSRG are the best community and most active clubs in the region. Thank you. I heard about us from our nets. He is interested in field day, attend, operate, set up, and cleanup. Thank you. Technical special interests, public service, education, training, public service facilities. Interested in the picnic. I would encourage you to look at the swap meet. Also interested in parades, seafair, bike events. So Jeffrey, you have anything to tell us about yourself?
Well, been a ham for almost a year now, and good. So working on my general license. Hopefully we'll be doing that soon. Shy of that, just interested in just about everything at this point in time. You know, playing with D-Star, trying to understand it, here with WiresX. You know, getting into all the other stuff. Helped my dad get back into ham. He tried to get me in when I was a kid, and I got licensed and got him relicensed. So that was really cool. Built one of his dreams, so that was neat. And because of the interesting thing, because of the COVID situation, it was really cool because the group that licensed me, a few months later, they actually ended up doing the test for my dad. So we were both on the Zoom together talking with them, and it was really, really neat. Just a cool situation. Love that. Anyway, been in and around ham. I'm going to turn it back because I don't want to take up too much time. But yeah, just generally having a lot of fun and figuring out all the different repeaters and towers in my area and their capabilities.
Thank you very much. Jackson, K7CTB. And, Jackson's out of Carnation. Software engineer. He holds a general class license. He is an ARL member. He wants to stay active with in-ham activities. You heard about us from our website, The Repeater. Field day, attend, operate, and setup. Technical special interest, education and training. Interested in swap meet, picnics, and banquets. Jackson, do you have anything brief to tell us about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken to a lot of you over the nets and stuff, and you know, this really it's a huge club, a large community. I've attended some of the other clubs that are a lot smaller around the area, and you know, this one's pretty amazing, to be honest. I'm a new general. I've only had that license for a few weeks, but I set up my HF shack a little over a week ago, and I've already made a couple of DX contacts, and one of them was to New Zealand. So it's pretty amazing to be able to do that. And I'm also I'm a pilot, so you know I fly my plane a lot, and I do a lot of electronics projects too. I built a lot of tube amps from scratch, so that's another big hobby of mine. So.
All right.
What do you fly?
What do I personally fly?
Yeah.
My plane is a Vector Harmony, so it's a light sport. I bought it because it's super efficient. It only burns about 4 gallons per hour, and it's really fun to fly. It doesn't feel like driving a truck like a Cessna does to me. I flew it from Los Angeles to here on its ferry flight. It was an awesome adventure. So.
Thank you.
Okay, and thank you for reminding me. Did anyone else have any other questions for the other two candidates?
How did Jeff snag that call sign?
That was actually one of the comments I was going to make. I was going to open with that. This is not a vanity call sign. I actually legitimately got this one luck of the draw. So, however, I intend on doing it justice. So CW is in my future.
And are you ready?
Well, that'll come too. Not yet though. But yes. But I definitely want to go for CW as well. But yeah, I've been playing a lot with FT8, and I intend on going down the RIDI and CW path. I just want to knock out my general first. So
Yeah, digital's a lot of fun. You'll enjoy it.
Oh yeah. All right. Jim, would you please throw them in the waiting room?
Okay, so for those that are prospective members, I'm going to put you into the waiting room so that the membership can talk and vote. So hang on here. All righty, we got the 3 in the waiting room.
Okay. So, any comments about Jack? KJ7YRR? Anyone know anything about him?
No, but it sounds like he's going to have some great stories. It might be a good help on some areas.
Yeah. All right. Launch the question.
For members only, please.
Yep, members only. All righty. You had 49.
Okay, that's what we have for listed for members. So, all right. Next up on my list is KJ7TTY. Any comments?
Jeff, he can generally, he's quite often on my PSRG NewNet on Saturdays, and he's been actually helpful. been chatting with folks, so he's been real active for a while.
Also, I noticed, I mean, just this is the first time I had a chance to encounter him, but I mean, very personable and, you know, providing information, things like that. So I think definitely an asset.
A
It's
good
great
engaged
having a
member.
younger guy in there.
Oh, yes, definitely on the younger side.
He answers an awful lot of questions on the technical net on Wednesday night. Kudos to him, man.
Cool.
All right, launch the question, please.
All righty. We're good there too.
Okay. Last one. Jackson. K7 CTB. Any thoughts or comments? Anyone know anything about him?
Did you say K7 or KK7?
K7 CTB.
Because he signed in with KK7.
You
Yeah,
signed in
that
with
is correct. It's KK7 actually.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
there
right,
was a
then, all right,
typo
that
on
was,
his
oh, that's
application.
right, there was a typo in his call, that's right. I'll correct it on the roster here.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, so KK7 CTB, he should have corrected me. So yeah, obviously a newer call. 'Cause I think
Got a
it-
lot of pictures flying on his QRZ page.
Yeah,
The application that was submitted is where the call sign error occurred.
yeah, and I didn't see it and catch it on the roster since it came in on the sheet. So, any comments besides I've corrected his call now?
Looks like he'll be a good addition to the CW Beach when field day comes up.
I was gonna say Dinkelman's gonna love him.
All right, I believe launch the question. Thank you. Manfred, I've updated the web page or the sheet for you.
Thank you.
All righty. We are good. So let me go and add them back into the meeting. All righty. Congratulations, guys. You're voted in, and as the treasurer, I have to do the little money spiel. So please go up to the Mike and Key website and look at membership, and you can pay your membership with PayPal or Square, or send an old-fashioned check to the post office box. And congratulations, welcome to the club.
Have they been promoted from an exclamation point to a star now?
Not until they pay. Not until they pay the money.
Okay. Phil, I'm done. Thank you.
Hey, great. Thank you, Steve, and congrats to the new members, and thank you for joining us. We're glad to have you on board. Next on my list, officers, is secretary, and that's Carl. Do you have anything to report? Is Carl here?
Carl?
Yeah, it's just muted. Sorry about that. Not a really report, but due to the changes of the RCW, I think I've looked at the duties of the secretary, and I have to do some review of that to meet the new requirements. And we had a good discussion last night, so just comment, but no report. Back to you, Phil.
All right, thank you, Carl, for that report. And Mr. Moneybags, that's Jim.
I'd like to ask Sam if he's available to make a comment of what we did last weekend.
Yes, last weekend we did a Zoom meeting of the audit committee using the registered. Everything's in order. We no discrepancies or anything else, but we had a good discussion about how to do some little fine tuning and background data saving and stuff like that. So it was a great review and things like that.
So that's the big news. Passed the audit, and I am again going to step down from the treasurer and look at other things to participate in the club. We'll see what happens in March. So that's all I have to report.
All right, thank you, Jim. And activities manager, Jason.
Thanks, Phil. Hey, guys. Let's see. Great presentation by David. Again, thank you for that. Appreciate it. The year-end gifts were sent out to Rob, KC7FBN, and Mike, K7MJI. It was more due to the snow and COVID and stuff. So I'm still trying to reach out to, I know I don't see him, I didn't see him on the call earlier, James, K7NC. Out on Vashon. I've reached out a few times, so by a couple different email addresses for him. So if anybody knows an alternate way to get a hold of him, let me know. I'd like to touch base with him, confirm his address before mailing out his gift. So that's good. The activity next month, it's normally set aside for swap meet discussion and work. So we will see what shakes out with that. If we, depending on the direction, I guess we go with a swap meet. But that will be the activity for next month. Presentation suggestions, my usual call out, let me know, reach out, activities@mikeandkey.org if you've got suggestions there, or if you've also got auction donation items. Remember, it's your support that helps us be able to give away the gifts like we do at the end of the year. 100% of those proceeds, whether it's for auctions or in some cases, when folks even stepped up with some cash donations. So that is really helpful, especially since we're not doing the in-person meetings. So again, reach out to me, activities@mikeandkey.org. Let's see, there is no auction for this month. And kind of as Jim said, I also am I'm at the end of my 2-year term as activities manager. So I would rally anybody who's interested. It is a lot of fun and trying to help, get some great activities for the club and really kind of in some cases act as, coordinator, help facilitate it. But it's really open to you guys for, what you want to do. But if you'd like to do this role, it's wonderful. It's a lot of fun and you can kind of make it your own. Obviously, we've had a number of different folks over the years but it's certainly a good time. So reach out if you have any questions about the activities manager. That's it for me. Thanks, Phil.
All right, thanks. Yeah, if you're interested, anybody, feel free to nominate yourself. I believe the first round nominations begins next month. So if you're interested, be sure to attend next month's meeting.
This month.
Does it start this month?
month.
Okay, well, that's later on then. Very good. Couldn't remember. Next one is radio officer, and that's Hal in 7NW.
Okay, I don't have a lot to report. Been watching the outdoor cameras up at the Tiger Mountain site, and during the heavy snow and stuff that we had there for a week or 2 weeks, it was looking pretty nasty up there. I just clicked on it today and looked at it, and sun's out. It's shining brightly up there. Most of the snow that was 6 or 8 inches on top of the buildings is gone away. There's still, of course, plenty on the ground. It's not, obviously not, you can't get up there in a vehicle, that's for sure. And we did have one occurrence while I was in California over Christmas, where the 220 repeater also locked up and had to be reset. And LJ was able to reset it for me, so to back up and running for their net. So that seems to happen every few months, but fortunately, it's very easy to do a command code from touchtone command code to reset it. So that's all I have as radio officer.
Have you identified a root cause for that? What's causing it?
No, I actually, what I did is I looked in the manual, and the manual actually says before you take your truck up to the mountain, try this code to reset the repeater, and lo and behold, that's done it. So apparently it must be a known, I don't know if it's a problem or what it is.
Undocumented feature.
Yeah, undocumented feature, right?
Okay, great. Thank you, Hal.
Yeah.
Next up is a web committee, Dave Smith.
Well, one nice thing that we've added to the applications for new members is the ability for as part of the application to submit an essay as to please introduce yourself. And that's actually turning out to be rather popular. We're getting a kind of some people are very verbose, but others are short. But we get a pretty good stories of some of the people that have applied recently.
Great. Thank you, Dave.
Question.
Was there a question?
Yeah, I'm wondering if those will be made available before voting on members in the future.
It's a discussion topic that we will definitely look at.
Thanks.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Relay editor, that's David.
Well, I guess I'll just do my common plug is please continue or start submitting articles. The Relay is your magazine, your newsletter, and it's a great space for sharing knowledge and experience and stories and jokes and links, etc. So feel free to contribute. And as of my last issue will be June 2022. So please think about taking over as editor. It's not a difficult job. And I will be happy to explain it in more detail if anyone's interested. Thanks.
Hey, David, a couple of meetings ago, we did have a new member that said he might be interested. Has he gotten a hold of you at all?
Yes, he and I talked, and he would have been a very good choice. Unfortunately, he was not aligned with the bylaw number 19, so he declined.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, David, for that. And if you're interested, be sure to let him know. Moving along to committee reports, and that begins with membership. That's Manfred or Rita.
Okay, thanks, Phil. Yeah, first, congratulations to the 3 new members. Thank you so much for joining. Excellent. And since the last board meeting, we received another 9 applications, that will be considered during the next board meeting in early February. So very impressive to see. We got more than 270 members at this point. Thanks again. That's it from my end.
Great. 270. That's a good high number, you guys. Thanks for joining. Facilities and publicity. That's J, AE1J.
Yeah, nothing new to report or changed really in our status. The board continues to review our status on a month-to-month basis as far as COVID and when we'll be ready to return to the hybrid meetings. And we vote on it and then send out notification each month. So we're just kind of continuing to review the situation as we go.
Yeah, thanks, Jay, for that. And I'm really looking forward to when we can see each other again. I really miss it. Education and training, that's, well, Daniel Stevens is here. How about go and give us a report?
Okay, let me get on off the meet like that. Yeah, we actually have a in-person technician class scheduled in February. The 12th and the 13th is going to be a weekend class. Depending, try to stay away from. It will be in Federal Way. I'll get the information out today, so get up on the webpage. We do have a general that we want to put into February also. I know one of the members wanted to be general. It'll probably be in the south end. So that hasn't been nailed down. And working with several other partners to get some more classes scheduled and things. But right now we do have a technician class, the 12th and 13th in Federal Way. And I'm the contact person at KL7WM at AOL.com. Thank you. Back to you. Phil.
Okay, great. Thank you, Daniel. So we do have classes, in-person classes coming up for tech and for general. So if you want to upgrade that to that general class license, be sure to let them know. KL7WM@AOL.com. Public service, we've got Jeff or Robert.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take it. There's only one imminent event on public service. That's the Chili Hilly in late February. I have not been in touch and haven't heard anything from the organizers of that. Generally speaking, that is the one event that has a plethora of volunteers. Historically, they've had so many that they've actually declined late offers for extra assistance. So I'm not too concerned about them. I know I'm on their list. I hadn't done it in a couple years, so I would be one of the people they'd contact if they do need someone. So, but I will be in touch with them, and if there is any need, I'll pass it along. The other thing is the booklet. I've been in conversation with the board, and based on our expectations with the swap meet and COVID, reduced attendance, and lack of or impairment of some of the other channels for the distribution that we do of the booklet through the year, we're going to go with a significantly reduced volume. Our typical volume has been 3,000 or a little bit more, of which we distribute around half at the swap meet historically. And then the rest of it goes out through classes and testing sessions and similar things, club meetings and so forth through the year. With likely impairment of a lot of those avenues and reduced attendance at the swap meet, we're probably going to be in the neighborhood of about half the normal production. That's going to depend a little bit on how the exact cost curve works out and what advertising revenue I have to offset the costs. But we do plan to go with a printed booklet, and then we'll of course have the PDF of the booklet available for download beyond that. When we talked about this at the November general meeting, one of the things that we mentioned was the fellow, our member who does the layout of the booklet for us, Brendan Berger, had a job change this past year and no longer has access to the software which we use for the layout, which is Adobe InDesign. At that meeting, a couple of people after the meeting spoke up and mentioned they have that software. I went back and viewed the tapes, but I couldn't find those people. So if you are one of them, or if you have that, please contact me, send me a chat now or an email later. It's kd7wmv@arrl.net will get to me. And let me know. Another option is that we can probably just get a 1 month subscription to it, which would be $20. So pretty, or in the ballpark of $20. So not a big deal. But if someone already has it, that would work out great too. So please let me know if you have that. That is all I have on public service at the moment.
Thank you, Robert. Next on my list is, a very, it's technical and special interest is first, yes. Dan or Manfred?
Well, I can take this one because November, December meeting coincided way too close to Thanksgiving and Christmas, so we have nothing to report.
Okay, great. Thank you, Dan. And now here's a very pertinent topic right now is swap meet. That's Hal or Mike Dinkelman.
Yeah, Mike's off contesting. So, yeah, I'd like to put a little bit of a push in here for some signups. So I know that they've, on the chat page, you've seen this. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here because I'd like to talk a little bit about the swap meet and the sign up page. For those who are new and not familiar, the sign up, you can go to the sign up page. It's mkarc.ivolunteer.com, and that will get you this open page right here. And you can then go ahead and proceed to click on either of the two swap meet, Friday or Saturday. So we need helpers on Friday, and we need helpers, volunteers on Saturday for various positions. And for those who are new members to the club, and for those who particularly also indicated that they were interested in the swap meet, this is your chance to sign up. We are, because of the size of the event, at the swap meet is on March the 12th. Setup is on March the 11th at the Washington State Fairgrounds in Puyallup. That's on the corner of Meridian and 9th. And we have our event in the Pavilion building. So at both floors. We sell tickets out front, and that's part of the process. So I'm going to run through this just really quick so that you have perhaps an idea of what the jobs are. We'll provide a little bit more detailed information come February for people who have signed up, but don't hesitate to sign up and sign up often. We will need to have, because of the size of the event, you'll need to be vaccinated. And also, while inside, we'll also need to wear masks. We're over the 1,000 attendees. So if you click on this one list here, it comes up with various things. There's the administration. Administration is the that's basically the all of the committee chairs, okay? And setup starts on Friday. We need quite a few people to set up, and the setup is involved in setting up tables, over 300 of them, on 2 floors in the Pavilion building, and putting out chairs and stuff. So it's a take the tables off the stack of tables, flip them over, put the legs up, flip them over, some down, and put them in a row. Registration, that activity that's where we take care of all of our sellers when they come in. And we need quite a few volunteers in here. It's a pretty easy job. It's a matter of directing cars over to the registration booth, and also handling the check-in of all the sellers as they come in. It's a fairly easy job to do, but it requires several people. So we need quite a few, as you can see here, for the different gates and different positions along the route. Loading dock. The loading dock is the area where our sellers come in their vehicle, they offload their equipment that they want to sell onto pallets. And then we have pallet jack operators, which will take those pallets to their table while they go park their car off site in the Gold parking lot. So we need quite a few people to do the handling the pallet jacks. And so just go, if you want to do something, you click on this volunteer, and then it has you put in your email address and your name, and then you click on that, and then you'll have to go to confirm your email address. So that's a really easy way of doing that. Announcing is the PA station inside of the first floor on the Pavilion. And this is where our crew provides announcements throughout the event, both on Friday and Saturday, to make the sellers and also the buyers aware of things that are happening. And So that's pretty easy. You sit down and talk into a microphone, just like a hand does. Hospitality. This is the area where we have people where we set up to provide food for our workers. So you don't have to go buy anything, it's free food. And that'll be set up in the building adjacent to the pavilion. It's called the Washington State Patrol Building. Country Store, that's an area up on the second floor of the Country Store where we sell, if you have something you want to sell, and because you're going to be working, but you have something you want to sell at the swap meet, you can take it over to the Country Store, fill out the sheet, and they will sell it for you, and for no fee. And if you're not a club member or not working, then when you take something down, if you're not working, if you take something down and you just want to put it in a Country Store anyway, there's a 10% fee to sell your item. So we need volunteers here. And
Lots of volunteers, man.
Yeah. And then security, we're going to probably do away with some of the security, because this depends on how our volunteers go. We may do a little bit away with some of the walking volunteers, security, but we'll still need to have somebody around the loading dock and some of the gates, some of the doors. And of course, the treasurers. This is another one where the treasurer needs help handling the money during the event and checking people in, getting the money from the ticket sellers and stuff like that.
Must be a Mike and Key member for these
Yes, you must be a Mike and Key member, and you need to be qualified by the treasurer. So if not, now this is Friday. If you go up here on the right-hand side, you can click on that and you go down and you can get Saturday. So Saturday's got the whole agenda for Saturday. A lot of the stuff is the same, but it's Saturday. We start selling tickets at 7:30, or excuse me, 8 o'clock in the morning. And so, but we are there as workers at 5, and our sellers start coming in at 5:30. So it's more of the same thing for registration, the loading dock. You can see we need quite a few people needed. The ticket gates, we need people out front to sell the tickets. So here you can sign up to do that, and you must be a club member to be able to do this also, because it's handling money. Security, announcing the same as we did before. Country Store, this is the active time for the Country Store. On Friday, it's kind of set up and checking stuff in, but on Saturday, it's actually from 9 o'clock on, it's actually selling stuff. And of course, hospitality, we need some people there. It's getting pretty good. I'm not sure about VEs. And then Treasury Assistant, we need a lot of people here. So we really need to have some people step up and help Jim out on that. And then the one thing that we need to do afterwards is, once the event is over at 3 o'clock, and then between 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock, we are loading out everybody. And that's part of the loading dock here. You can see the tear down from 2:30 to 6 o'clock. That's when the sellers, starting at 3 o'clock, is when the sellers start taking all their equipment out. So we need help in the loading dock for that period of time. And then we also need, after the sellers have moved, we need to have people break down the tables and the chairs and sweep the floor and clean it up inside. So that's basically a very quick rundown of the task. If you want some more information, you can either contact me at my email address, n7nw.hal@comcast.net, or you can get a hold of Mike, N7WA, and his email, I don't have it off the top of my head here. So that's where we are. We are looking for a lot of people. Mike just sent an email out this morning. We said we were at 40%. So that's a long way from where we need to be to put this on.
What happens if we don't get enough volunteers, Hal?
Well, just getting to that point. So if we don't get enough volunteers, there's we are looking at the possibility of canceling the event. And of course, that would be bad for us, not only because it would cost us approximately $9,000 in fees that we have already paid, but it's also bad for the our sellers and our commercial people coming. You know, we did not have a swap meet last year because of COVID. This year, we're trying to have it, and if we get enough volunteers and stuff, we'll go ahead and proceed with this. And but we have to know within about the next 2 weeks. After about that time, but that's before we have to make our second down payment, non-refundable down payment to the fairgrounds, to the event center at the Washington State Fair. So any questions? Any questions from any new people? I see I didn't lose too many. We still got 52 in here. We were 55 when I started.
So just a comment that is made a couple of times is what we do and what we get from the flea market benefits everyone else for the rest of the year. It keeps our dues lows, our dues low. It helps us for field day, things like this. It provides the things that we like to do. So this is a working event so that we can offset what we do for fun.
Right. It offsets our banquet expenses, although we haven't had a banquet for a couple of years. We're hoping, but it offsets our expenses for that. It offsets our expenses for field day, and it helps us provide the club dues, keeps the club dues low. One other thing, after the event, we also normally have a sit-down Chinese dinner in Kent. I have not looked into that yet. I know Jim would like to go have Mexican food, but that is still being planned, but I have not made the reservations, and we'll see how that. And we normally have 40 to 50 people at that sit-down dinner, and it's more food than you'll ever eat in your life. So.
Oh my goodness, yeah. It's so good.
Hal, this is Michael. I would like to ask whether the volunteer examiners are all being signed up individually by Scott, as usually happens.
Yes.
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 So people actually cannot go to the I Volunteer Club website and sign themselves up as a volunteer examiner. They have to go to Scott, through Scott to get.
Right, you have to go through Scott, AG 17.
Yeah, feel free to email him if you're interested.
And the other thing is, due to the COVID situation, you must have proof of vaccination or a recent negative test. And there was some discussion about the club getting some N95 masks and protective gloves if we get volunteers to sign up.
Yeah, that would be, I think would be good. Is N95 masks right now are going for about $2 a piece, or maybe even a little higher than $2. And apparently the rate is climbing. But that's another position that's not on our chart out there right now. We are going to need to set up a table and a line out front before the ticket booth so that we can check everybody for vaccination status and give them a wristband to show that they've been identified or checked.
Yeah, we'll need to have that check done before they go to the ticket booths because we don't want to sit there and have to
That's
do
right.
refunds.
Right. And then because of that also, because we will be giving them a wristband, we will not need a hand stamper on checkout. If they leave and want to come back in, typically we've had a hand stamper, David, KC7FSR has been our hand stamps. Anyway, he does the hand stamp, but we won't need that this year because everybody will have a wristband. So we'll have a sign out there that says, show your wristband for a reentry.
Cool.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Hello?
Yep. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Carolyn.
It seems to me that the vax mandate situation may be a problem getting volunteers, but I wonder if that doesn't only apply during the time we have up to 1,000 people in the building, and perhaps we could get more volunteers if we divided the jobs up that don't require that on Friday or outside. Perhaps we ought to be looking at redefining the volunteer positions by the ones that have to be vaccinated during the 9 to 3 slot.
Well, it's a little difficult because a lot of the people who are volunteering on Friday will be there Saturday also. And it's a little difficult to try to, okay, now we got to kick everybody out because we're going to have over 1,000 people starting at 8 or 9 o'clock. And so therefore everybody has to go out and get their wristbands and stuff and be checked. So that would be a little too complicated to do.
You can give the wristbands out to the volunteers on Friday. That's one way to handle it, but at least you'd have people for setup and cleanup that you might not otherwise have. Maybe even somebody to stand outside the door as security. There's just certain jobs that could be done, it seems to me, that don't involve the 1,000 people.
Yeah, I thought about that, and that's just to try to organize that to. It'd just be too complicated because a lot of the volunteers and stuff also come and that's one good advantage to being a volunteer is that you get in for free, and plus you get to go around prior to the public comes in and look at all the goodies and find some things you might want to have. So that's another bonus for being a volunteer. So please take a look at the page, and if you can sign up and you feel comfortable in doing it, please do. And we will, our plan is that everybody will be verified for vaccination status and receive a wristband, even if you're a helper on Friday or Saturday, because it'd be too complicated to have some not and some do, and then to try to extra load of checking people on Saturday from Friday. So, we're going to check all the sellers in when they come in, and they'll get verified for wristbands, and the wristbands will be put on as they're coming in, and helpers should be the same way. It's just one way.
One other thing I wanted to add, I mentioned it before the meeting in the rag chew section. If there is a Mike and Key member that has a daughter, granddaughter, great granddaughter that is in the Girl Scouts that are selling cookies, contact us because we'll work on manning a booth down there to sell cookies.
Is that all from you, Hal?
Yeah, I think that's all. Everybody rush over there. I rushed over there this morning and signed up for ticket takers for Annie and myself. So
okay, great.
We're gonna take care of that. I think we really need that because we're gonna need to verify that they've got the wristband and they've got their ticket when they come through. And so if we didn't have ticket takers there, it would be a little bit hard to verify everybody before they get into the building.
Okay, great. And does a negative test work as well?
Yeah,
Okay, great.
negative test within,
Within 72 hours, I think.
yeah, I don't know how they provide the verification of that or something like.
A photo of the result from the
Yeah.
lab or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, great. Thank you, Hal.
thank you.
And feel free to volunteer, everybody. The link has been posted a couple of times over in the chat. So it's like we all need all hands on as many hands as we can. It's a very important event for our club and for the radio community here in the Northwest. Next up was a field day. Well, David just bowed out here at noon. And there is
Check the chat.
Yeah, check the chat for a field day survey. It's like we are planning, it's like we do have the wagon wheel and the special events permit for the bluff and the beach. So it should be a go. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the retreat center, so no barracks this year.
So fill that out, one way or the other. If you're going, if you can't go, it's going to give the board the ability to look at this and see if it's a viable event for us going forward.
Yes. It's like hopefully the retreats, they'll refurb those buildings and we can get to use the barracks again, but who knows? Don't know what the state's ever thinking. Next up is, well, that's it for committees. I don't see anything else. Do we have any old business? Any old business for the club?
Could I comment to Hal for just a moment?
Go ahead, Gil.
Hal, I can be afoot on Thursday. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're not going to be doing, the other thing is we're not going to be doing phones this year. So we won't be stringing phone lines and stuff. Well, I resigned from that a couple of years ago. Yeah, I know, but just seeing you reminded me of that. I wanted to mention that. So that's one task we won't be doing. And we're also looking at trying to spread things out a little bit. So we may actually try to start setting up some of the tables on Wednesday or Thursday, so we have less to do on Friday, and maybe allow us to bring our sellers in a little bit earlier on Friday to lessen the load that we'll have. So might help. And thanks, Gail. We'll see if I'm going to go down and mark up the floors maybe Wednesday instead of Thursday. Let me know. Oh. Also, there's one other thing that we may need some help with, is that the pallets. In the past, our pallets have been held by Kevin Barrows.
Oh, right.
In case you haven't heard, he has passed away last year, and all the pallets that he had, our pallets, were disposed of when the relatives prepared the house for sale. So, but we have located another source, and they're actually going to be pretty good pallets, better than we had probably. And we're going to pick them up on this Wednesday. And we have somebody in Sumner, I forget to call her name, but he has a 20-foot trailer and a pickup truck. So we're going to haul all those pallets up to Mike's house. We need some muscle to help unload some of those pallets from off the trailer to an area. And then we'll need to have the same thing when we get ready to bring them back down to the fairgrounds in March. We'll need to have some people down there to help load them back up on the trailer. And then at the fairgrounds, they have forklifts and stuff to take care of it. So that's not a problem. So that's a sort of a little extra task. So if anybody can help on Wednesday, Mike is setting up the time where we're going to pick up the pallets and take them up to his house, and then we have to unload them off the trailer. I might try and see whether or not we can maybe leave them on the trailer and just take. That would keep us from having to unload them and reload them.
I was gonna say, it's like, what about transport to the fairgrounds the weekend of the event?
Well, yeah, we're going to transport them down there, but I don't think we can take them down there 2 months ahead of time.
Yeah,
Yeah, but we can take them early.
okay.
Yeah, we can take them down there and store them away from the pavilion building, a couple of weeks early or something like that, or a week early. But during that week, we can actually just take them to the pavilion building and drop them off. So they'll be done. We'll probably do that during the week too, like on a Wednesday or a Thursday.
Okay, great.
Hal, is Gary Byron your chair for pallet crew?
I think
What's
so.
that?
Is Gary your chair for pallet crew again?
He says yes.
Oh, Gary? Yeah.
Yeah.
The question is Gary Byron your chair for pallet crew?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and he's on here.
Did we get a good look at the pallets being plastic? Are they a little lighter than the regular wood ones so that someone of my capabilities would be able to handle them also?
Yeah, they're all plastic, and actually, I can share a real quick picture here of the stack of pallets. Whoops. Gotta hang on a second. Move that way here. Gotta share screen.
And are they the same width, so you don't have to have a special one for second floor?
Yeah, their elevator is 48 inches wide. Standard pallets are 40 by 48. So here, these right here.
Yeah.
Look how nice those look. Okay.
Oh yeah, those are pretty great.
Yeah, and then there's some down here. These look, and then over here. So we definitely are going to be looking at getting some in the back here. So there's a bunch here. These are wooden on this side. These look like plastic over here, but they don't look like they're stackable.
One thing to keep in mind also is those thin ones look like they might only work for a forklift, not a pallet jack.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Well, yeah, these are stacked. So what you find out is that the legs come down.
Yeah.
Yeah, here.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, they look just like this here, but they just, they stack, and that's the beauty of these things, so they take up a lot less room. So they have the same distance, the 4-inch height or whatever it is, 4 or 6 inches.
So there's 2 inches of clearance for the elevator, huh?
Pardon?
The elevator is 42 inches wide?
48.
Well, they said it was 48.
Okay.
I asked them, and they said it was 48 inches wide. So, and the standard width is a 48, and then 40 inches deep.
I was gonna say, is it deep enough to hold the pallet plus the pallet jack and people?
Yeah, that's what we had done in the past. So.
Okay.
We might
So
add
anyway, and we'll get a chance to even eyeball these things and measure them on this Wednesday. So if some people are available to help offload these things at Mike's house, want to ride with me, Robin? Robin, are you still here?
You might add that these are going to be free for the club, and they're not going to take them back. So we got to find a place to store them too. Is that right?
They're actually doing them a favor, because whenever they take a truckload of these things to get rid of them, it costs them $1,400.
Oh wow.
Oh gee.
Well, benefits both ways.
Yeah.
We should charge them.
Okay. I think that's all. Forgot to mention the pallets.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Thank you, Hal. Anybody have any more questions for Hal for swap meet? All right, don't hear anything else. I didn't hear anything for old business. Moving along
Just a quickie.
Oh, Mark, go ahead.
can you send out a note, kind of what time you may, if you need help unloading the pallets, because that would be kind of a key if I can come and help.
Yeah, I'll have Mike, yeah, we'll set that up. I think he was planning on picking them up about 9 o'clock in Puyallup. And originally we're looking like we were gonna have 3 or 4 vehicles, trailers and pickups to pick these things up, but somebody in Sumner volunteered his 20-foot pickup, or 20-foot trailer. So the pickup is at 9 o'clock, so I would imagine unload at Mike's house probably about 10.
Okay.
At AM.
Yeah, AM.
Yes.
I would hope so.
Yeah, 10 a.m.
Late night pallet run. There you go.
But send Mike an email or me, and we'll coordinate the time.
Okay, great. Thank you, Hal. Any other questions? No? Okay. Moving along to new business. Did we want, hey, anybody on the board, did we want to talk about the bylaw stuff?
Maybe we should do nominations first.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's thank you for the reminder, Dave. Let's go over to our chairman of the board, Manfred, for nominations for the election.
Okay, thank you, Phil. Right, so I wrote a little write-up in the last newsletter that you can see. So based on our bylaws, we have to elect a new board, essentially new officers every year, and that election happens at the general meeting in March. And so there are five officer positions to be elected or re-elected, for that matter. And also this year, 2 trustees, right? So the five board members, the 5 officers are all except for the radio officer, and 2 trustees, numbers 2 and number 4, in an even year. So we essentially are looking for, let's see, 7 potential candidates to volunteer to be elected and then help us carry the business of the club forward on all of your behalves, of course. In addition, we're also looking for somebody who is replacing David W7DAO as the relay editor, as you already pointed out. And we already have, I should also mention, we have a position already for the treasurer. Jim kindly lined up already Scott, KC7 SAG. So the treasurer is a special position that needs to be approved by the board prior to the election to be sure, that the candidate has the proper qualifications. And we're doing that vetting at the next board meeting. So
if you're interested, though, in becoming the treasurer and want to run against Scott, let me know and we'll talk and then bring you into the board. But otherwise, right now, we've got Scott, and then I'm going to step down and look at doing something else for the club.
Yeah, so thanks, Jim, for clarification. So to all of you, this is also an opportunity, of course, to let the current board know what you thought about how we did our job on your behalf. Hopefully, it was not completely embarrassing, but in any case, please feel free. It's a lot of fun. There's a learning curve, obviously, and I've been doing it now for 2 years. My term as a treasurer is coming up. No, I'm sorry, as a trustee number 4 is coming up for election. So it's a learning curve, and it's a great opportunity to see how the club works and contribute in many different ways. And it's a community effort. We'll have lots of teams in various capacities to try to do a good job. So yeah, so please feel free to volunteer. You don't need to do it all by yourself. There's a lot of help. Anybody who is new and wants to step into any of those roles, there's a lot of help and support you would get from the rest of us. Thank you.
This is also to point out, this is a great opportunity for someone new coming into the club to help out and provide a voice or some new insight for us.
I can contest, comment on that. I started my career with the club as a trustee, and it's not a hard job to do, but you totally get immersed in the whole process and learn everything about the club and the organization and the operations of the club, and it's very valuable. Also, during my terms through various positions of the club, having the new members come on as trustees bring new blood and new fresh ideas in that are really beneficial.
And activities.
Yeah, it's like agreed. It's like I actually started my tenure with the Mike and Key Club. A few months after I joined, I was secretary. So, so don't feel shy. Feel free to step up and volunteer for the board of your club.
The only thing is you must be present on March to be elected. You must be present to win.
Correct.
Tell Dan to read the chat.
Okay, so are we doing nominations at this time?
Yeah, let's see who's being nominated for the different positions.
Okay, I believe Manfred runs that.
Yep.
I see. Yes. Okay. So right. This is the first time I'm in this role myself to ask for nominations, and maybe I'm not sure how that works with those who are
We'll do
already
one position
holding.
at a time.
Do one position at a time, starting with president and moving down the list.
I see. Okay. All right. So are there any nominations for president?
I nominate myself.
Okay. Very good. Anybody else?
There will be another time to put yourself up again next month and then in March also.
Right.
Okay. So then we need a potential nomination for vice president.
I will put myself in again.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else has ideas as to who would be a good candidate for any of those positions, actually?
For vice president?
Yes, for vice president. Okay, sounds like not at this point. The next position is the secretary.
Carl, ready to go?
Carl, are you by
there
any
you
chance willing to nominate yourself?
My wife says no, and I say yes.
So is that a no or is that a maybe?
That is
a definite maybe.
I'll put myself in.
A dozen roses, Carl. That's all I can say. A dozen roses in yours. You should be good.
Diamond earrings.
Diamond earrings.
Mark, you're going to pay for them.
The diamond earrings or the roses?
Both.
Anybody else wants to volunteer themselves or has a suggestion about somebody else?
I would like to add, this is probably one of the best positions that really gets you
oh yes,
familiar with the club operation, because I must admit that I'm not the best recorder of what the club does, but it really gets you dialed in to what's going on, and it was a good thing, Mark, besides the pain and agony of it. But I self-nominate if that's what you.
Carl, how many boxes of records do you have?
How many I have? Well, that's the thing, when the RCW came out and I read that, I was going, holy crap. Yeah, where is all the records?
Well, most of it is on the website. So hopefully that will solve your problem.
Yep.
Well,
Hope is alive still, as
Well,
long as the internet doesn't crash.
there are still a few miscellaneous pieces of paper that have to be captured, but
Sure.
And just think of the handoff from the current secretary to next year's secretary. Boy, that'd be really easy.
Okay,
I'm done.
thank you, Carl. Excellent.
Yep.
All right, so then we have the treasurer position. Scott, you already have volunteered or have been volunteered? Okay. Anybody else who would like to volunteer for the treasurer position? Okay, nothing heard for now. So then the next one is the activities manager that Jason has held, and he's stepping down with other commitments. Any volunteers for the activity manager position? Mark, would you like to take it over again?
Mark, it's a real easy and fun job.
Yes.
Exactly.
So fun.
Only
that
because I've done it
everyone here.
once already. I'm going to point my finger to see if Jeff would like to take over the activities, if he would accept the nomination. That's KJ7 TTY.
Oh, I see. Well,
Right now I'm watching, trying to figure out what's going on and what it'll all entail. So I would have
Okay.
to look into that and
you can make
know
up
more
your mind
first.
for a while. It doesn't have to be answered today.
So first meeting, not ready to jump in just yet. I want to go research. I'm not saying no.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we will have nominations for the next 2 months, so feel free to
I'll
take
keep
your
you on the hook.
Figured that.
Look
Excellent.
look in the chat too, Jeff.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Jeff, for, at least for considering potentially. All right, then we have 2 trustees to be voted on. One is trustee number 2. Dan, you currently hold that position. How about yourself? KG7.
I think 2 years was enough. Let somebody else try it for a while. It's fun. All the newbies, come on in, give it a shot. You'll get to know the club really well.
One of the best ways to get acquainted with how the club works.
I'd like to give it a try.
David?
Excellent. Okay.
What kind of a time commitment is there with that one, with the trustee?
Once a month.
Well,
board meeting.
Board meeting.
A board meeting and then the club meeting. So 2 times a month.
And
So.
whatever meeting between your group you want to, because sometimes remember too that the trustees usually take a subcommittee.
Mm-hmm.
But David,
Right.
was that
Yeah, like me, I'm trustee number 2, and I'm doing the technical and special interest. So that's there's another hour or so a month right there. Your involvement, or what how many hours a month you're going to participate in it's really up to you. You got the club meeting, you got the board meeting, and you got the subcommittee, and how involved do you want to get? How much time do you want to put into it? When I was doing all this, it's several hours a month, but it's not work. It could be fun.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends upon how you look at it.
Yep.
I've got a question.
Yes.
Are these assignments to the board position fixed, or is that reoriented every election?
Reoriented at every election.
Yeah, we reassign committees at every April board.
Yeah, so the new board, when you meet for the first time, everybody sits and says, okay, I would like to do this, and eventually everybody gets assigned as a liaison for one of the subcommittees.
Correct.
For the standing, actually, officially it's called standing committees.
Standing committees.
Yeah, the ones we're required to have. Yeah.
Yes.
And this is the one you all recommend for beginners. Everybody seemed to be pretty.
Yes, this is definitely the one we recommend for people new that want to learn about the club.
Okay, I can throw my name in on that one.
Oh, great.
Excellent. Thank you, Jackson. Wonderful.
So we have David and Jackson.
I'd like to nominate Jeff.
I'll just remind as a trustee and a spokesman for a subcommittee, that doesn't mean you have to chair it necessarily. You need to find your members of your committee, get a group together and select a chair if they don't have one.
And you are the spokesperson for that committee to the board.
Board meetings.
And that's it. So
Liaison.
yeah, the liaison.
And in some cases, you know, the liaison is also the chair of the committee, but that is not necessarily the case. So that can all be arranged.
What's David's call sign?
KJ7 Alpha Kilo Golf. And Jackson.
Also, there are 5 trustees. One of the trustee becomes the chairman of the board. And in the current year, that chairman of the board is Manfred. So in the April club meeting, board meeting, the new chairman of the board is going to be identified from one of the 5 trustees.
The board agrees upon the new one, correct?
But identified meaning election. It's a board internal election to elect. Yes, right. And I had I did have the privilege to serve in that position this past year. Okay, so let's see. Somebody said Jeff should be.
I nominated Jeff. I didn't hear if he responded one way or the other.
Which Jeff?
Well, I believe it's TTY.
I see. TTY. I see. Okay.
Same answer.
That's why I'm laughing. So it's. It was kind of funny because I was actually typing in response to someone else at the time when that was coming in. So what was the title of that one I'm being nominated for? Just to make sure.
That's a trustee position.
It is a trustee. Okay.
A little bit easier.
Right, because because at the same time I was actually responding to a comment on technical and special interest under trustee, which sounds interesting, right? And is that all tied together? That's
yes.
Trustee.
You can
be a liaison to one of the standing committees.
And the job descriptions are up on the website.
Is that a yes?
I am going to do a tentative yes right now. I need to go read the job description. So
okay.
Yeah, check the website for job descriptions.
Yep.
And if you need clarifications, reach out to any of the current board members. There's a lot of us that have done it. There's a lot of us in the club that have done these jobs.
Right, and that's
so you would not be you would not be doing any of these jobs alone or without support.
Excellent.
Okay, you will find that when you go up to the website, it identifies 5 committees that the trustees are part of, but there's really no job description for what that particular committee does. So it basically, you meet, the committee meets and then tries to figure out what that committee does each time. So it might change from year to year.
That's interesting. Okay.
And technical and special interest has changed over the years. I've been a club member.
Yeah.
So
that I can imagine just with the way things are changing in ham radio as it is anyway, and the audience we're trying to reach out to, trying to find new younger. Well, I mean everyone. We're trying to get everybody right, but but one of the big gaps I see right now is driving towards younger generations, trying to get them to come in. All right, go ahead.
Thank you, Jeff. Yes, so that particular question about getting younger generations involved also came up in the membership committee and in the strategic planning committee, right? Which we also have. So there are lots of ways to get involved and infuse your ideas and rejuvenate the club in many different ways. Okay, so then the last board position is trustee number 4, which I'm holding right now, and I'm the liaison for the membership committee currently, and I'm also nominating myself because I think it's kind of great to contribute this way, but that doesn't mean nobody else should vote for that position. So I'm looking for others to refill this particular slot.
Will all nominations for trustees be considered for both positions?
Yes.
Yeah. And Manfred, I definitely like the work that you've done, especially as board in the board and keeping us going. So thanks for.
What people has to realize that if, for example, if Manfred is position number 4 now, if he gets reelected, it'll be for position 2. Can't be the same position.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I see. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. There's no term limit for trustees.
I didn't think there
right? But
was
you
either.
have to change.
There isn't a term limit.
You can run for the same one.
Yeah.
Just not officers. It's like you have two, you can run 2 consecutive terms for an officer.
Uh-huh.
But no such limitation exists for a trustee.
Okay, so yeah, so please feel free to put your head in the election, and then we'll see what happens. And then, okay, so those are the officer positions, and then we also are still looking for relay editor refresh. And David already said that he's carrying through until the June newsletter this year. So we have a little more time, but people should start thinking about if they would like to take on that job.
And the relay editor is an appointed position. It's not an elected position.
Right. But we still need volunteers to let themselves be appointed.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So I guess that is it from my side then for the moment.
Great. Thank you, Manfred, and thank you to all the folks who stepped up to be nominated. Sam?
Bill, earlier it was mentioned in the meeting about the bylaws thing that Mike's been working on. As a former member of the bylaws committees, I looked over the last email that was sent out on that by Michael. I don't know if I still have a copy of it. And I don't know how, I haven't gone into the bylaws to look at it recently, but reading what he wrote up and knowing his activities in the past, we ought to consider just saying, okay, just submit them for vote as he has written them, rather than form a committee, because wordsmithing can get very tangled up on that.
Sam, we met last night. And we hashed out a version 4 of the bylaws because there were some things that were, so first of all, Michael's suggestions were there, and then Manfred took some, he found some other things that, capitalizations and spacings and other minor things. And then last night we actually found some more things in the special meeting. So there is the latest version is version 4, and it was sent to the MKARC board.
Very good.
You should have gotten that. And we voted on it last night and are recommending it because it has things like we're going to be doing remote meetings, and the March is our official annual meeting, and a couple of other things. So the board is going to share that out in the next relay, and since we voted last night, we are recommending to the general membership that it is passed the way it is, but there'll also be a vote in the February meeting.
Yeah, next month it will be published in the February relay for you guys' consideration.
Yep.
So my proposal is, I don't think that from what you just said and from what I read and Michael saying, I don't think we need to reconvene a bylaws committee. That gets very long and involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
No, we are not redoing the bylaws. We are making additions to the bylaws.
Sam, I appreciate your kind remarks about the bylaws committee, and I concur with the version of the bylaws which the trustees recommended last night be submitted to the membership.
Very good.
And I'll send out that Word document version 4 to the general membership, in later today probably. And it
Okay.
also gets printed in the next newsletter for record.
Well, I would like to see that as soon as viable also. Just
Mhm.
because it's involvement.
Will it be published to the groups?
Okay.
Yeah, it will be
Recommend-
emailed to the MKARC main
Okay.
groups.io.
Recommend that it get published as a PDF and the Word document.
Yep.
Yep.
Both, yeah, both versions. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. It's like that will be a vote for the next month's meeting. So feel free to consider it, and it'll be published in the relay and in the groups.io.
What we're gonna do, 20 days. It have to be published 20 days in advance of the vote.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, moving along here. It's like I think it's no, I'm not gonna talk about that. Do we have anybody with a show and tell for today? Anybody have anything interesting or any interesting contacts or anything like that lately?
We are way over. I've got
I
other
think-
things to do. So if we could adjourn the meeting, and then people that
Then we
want to
can
stick
talk
around
about
for show and tell.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, good consideration there, Steve. Long discussion about the swap meet and other nominations and things just adds up.
Yeah.
Well, one last thing, anything for the good of the order before we close?
Just, I got
have one
a quick
thing.
comment for after. I have a travel trailer that I want to sell that has got some nice features that I've added for him, and I'll talk about that during the after chat.
Okay, great. Thanks, Gil. Anybody else?
Yeah, I've got something about the.
Go ahead, Dick.
Well, since it appears that the wagon wheel is the major venue for housing during the event, I would suggest that people contact me as soon as they can regarding camping spots in there, so we can figure out just how to space everybody, because I imagine we're going to have a higher population than usual. So if we can get that going earlier rather than later, that should expedite things a bit. So that's all I've got. Just my call sign at ARRL, and tell me what you've got for camping needs, and I'll get back.
So and WA7NIW at ARRL.net for wagon wheel signups. And another thing I have is don't forget to join the Mike and Key Discord server. It's a great resource for information about the club and also a place to chat and stuff like that with your members outside of the meetings and away from the repeater. And you can find an invite link over in the chat.
Phil, I was just on that site. How do I change my password?
Oh, I think you might. It's like there is a way to recover it. I think you go onto their website.
So anyway, if you could research that and publish it, thing.
Yes, I can do that. It's like I'll do that after I close the meeting for you.
Thank you.
Oh, one last call. One last call. Do we have a motion to adjourn the January 2022 meeting?
Did that too quickly. Sorry. I was
Somebody's a leader.
prepping. I was prepping.
I so move. AE1J.
I second.
And Steve. Go ahead and pull up the vote.
And I have to do a second one because I accidentally hit launch and. Okay.
Oops.
Isn't this the
Alrighty.
vote by leaving?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
pretty much.
Well, that's
alternate.
another way. Yeah, sure.
You can alternately vote by leaving.
No.
Yeah, there's
Who
two that
voted
want to
no?
stay. There's two that want to stay, so yeah, we can stay and have an after
Let's
chat.
let's stick around here forever.
So let me go ahead and close down the recording, and we can turn it into RagChewNet.
Woo.